we are here in the office. It's Wednesday morning, September 2nd, and wanted to do another monthly update where we go through the numbers and we kind of see what's been happening. And we know it's all been a crazy year, but the good thing is we're starting to see a trend, and that trend has been stable. And that trend is sort of a comeback from what we saw happen in April and May. So what I want to do here, bear with me, is to go through August. And then I want to take a look back at last year comparison like I've always done. I'm also going to take a look back really over 4 or 5 years to give you a real better look at why this year's market is different and help explain why things are actually good in real estate, whereas in a lot of other industries, we're seeing immediate impact. So let's take a look at Athens or Clarke County like we always do to tighten the market and kind of look at one specific area as our example. So just taking a quick look back at last August. I only wanted to look at August because typically this is a time of year in residential and even investment real estate where things slow down. Once school starts back, people have a tendency to settle in and they don't really want to move. But with so many changes this year, and of course, a lot of schools not being in person, we predicted a different August, and that's what we're seeing. So last year, we saw 193 new listings in the month. Under contract, 127. That's a downward trend that you see at the end of the summer. It's very typical. Our prices were in around 285 list and selling price. The total homes sold at 205. Now, a lot of those homes, it should be noted, sold before August 15th, not at the end of the month. Now, let's go to 2020. Right off the bat, you can see there are more listings to market this August than last August. Then we go into under contract and look, 164 under contract this August versus 127. That is a 30% increase. And that's what we're seeing, the trends, that we are playing catch up by about a factor of 25 to 30% each month. So this August caught up to the home sales, if they close, by about 30%. Look at the list price. It's up to 306. That is, we're looking at 20 grand increase right there. Now, this is just for the month of August, not the whole year. And then the average sold price, 283 to 302. So from this time last year, we saw a big bump in that. Total homes sold down 179 to 205, which is about a 12, 13% decrease. Again, because of how many units we put under contract, we'll still catch up. So let's go back, and I want to compare these numbers to years past. So this is one thing I thought would be a good thing to take a look at. This is the month of August over the last 5 years. And what I'm tracking is the new listings in the month of August and the pending home sales in the month of August. So let's start here in 2016. You can see that we were down around below 150 and just over 200 for the new listings. Pending home sales under 150. 2017, the pending home sales went under 100 in the month of August. And then 2018, we had a pretty solid August where it came up, and that sort of was stabilizing right below 150, probably around the 140, 130 number. We saw the same thing in 2019. So this is where the bar has been set for the month of August. 2020, where does it go? It shoots straight up. We now cross well over 150 pending homes in the month of August, which is a record high over the last, 5 years. Now look at this here too for new listings. The same trend continues where we're just over 200, 2016, 2017. 2018 had a big peak. I did see there was a glut of listings put in that month that did raise the number a little bit that were in one development. But then look at 2019. The new listings dipped to under 200. And then this year, we saw it roar back up almost in sync with the pending homes. So this August, as predicted, we're seeing record numbers. And we really think that'll continue into our fall. Personally, I can speak to the fact that I know of numerous units, probably about 15, 16, that we have not been able to get in the MLS. But once we do, they're going to show as new, as under contract pending sales that will close in September. And just if that's going on in our office, I can only imagine it's going on in all the other offices in our area too. So I really feel that you'll see September kind of stay in step with these numbers, and we'll continue to climb and catch, possibly even exceed 2019, but we will be exceeding some of the years prior. The next thing I wanted to take a look at was the pending home sales over these amount of months and basically compare them in 2019 to 2020. So I'm only looking at pending home sales, and the reason is I want to explain to you why we're coming out of it. And the reactions in March were this is going to be very bad for our housing market. April, we saw the impact. May, we started to come out. So the blue line indicates what happened in 2019. So these are the pending home sales in 2019. We start the year just over 100. As you see our spring market come into March, we get to just under 200 pending home sales. Peak market, April 2019, is just over 200. And then as you can see through the rest of the year heading into August, it is a predictable, steady decline. There's a saying in real estate, if it hasn't been a good year by July 31st, you haven't had a good year. Because in a lot of the residential sales, that's when it's really going to taper off. You start heading into school, you start heading into Thanksgiving, Christmas. It's just a natural thing for people want to not uproot their life unless they have to. Now let's go take a look at 2020. Pending home sales of this year started a little bit above 2019. It's actually going to be a pretty good year above 2019. And as you can see, right here is where we saw the first change. Shelter in place, all that happened in March. So our numbers were below 150, where in 2019 they were almost at 200. Big variation here in pending home sales. We hit the tranche, so to speak, of this what we call it, basically lockdown that we went into. Pending home sales were way down in April of this year versus last year. And then look at this miraculous feeling comeback that started to happen. It really is that V that had been mentioned. And this is just our market. I know there's other impacts. But from April of this year, we have seen a steady incline all the way to a peak in June of pending home sales. And even though it tapers off a little bit in July and August, the important thing to note is these pending home sales now are drastically above last year's. So here's where your catch up is happening. Right here where I'm showing you is from last year to this year, where the difference and where we're going up in houses getting closed. Now, these are good trends. And what it means really is that we expect to see a much different fall. If you've still got things you've got to get done, like sell your house, don't feel like you can't do it before Christmas. We've got a lot of factors that are driving a stronger market in the fall than we've seen in Athens before. A couple things I just want to go over. Not too much has changed from our last month, but we are year to date from last year only down 4%. Let me get the camera, 4. But 4% of pending home sales. So that is almost on par. And as you can see, if we're that far ahead in August, by September, this number here, 4%, we might be up instead of down. We might actually exceed 2019. The list price, in keeping with the trends we've seen over the last several years, we're up 4%. We're up about 4 or 5% on sold price. And the total number of homes sold is currently down 12% year to date from last year. But I go back to the placed under contract, how we keep having a 25, 30% increase compared to last year. It's likely that this number is only going to get smaller and could possibly turn from a down to an up. In closing, the last thing I want to go over for you here is what you need to know. A lot of this is similar from our last update. The fall market's going to be much different than years past, and that is what we're seeing. These numbers demonstrate it. Values are still up in our area, which is still a good sign. And what we're stressing to people is get a plan. If this is happening next spring for you, you still need to be thinking about it now. You need to know what's happening. What do I need to do between September 2nd and March 1st to have myself ready to go when I need to? It's probably never been more important. The people that are the most prepared to sell are the ones that are having the most success. Now, again, these interest rates are historically low. We're seeing people being locked in at 2.6, 2.7, 2.5, 3%, fantastic interest rates. And I think we all are understanding that inflation is likely to show up. Inflation is basically when the cost of a dollar is not buying you as much. When you bought that Coca-Cola for, I used to hear a dime, I didn't live in those times, and then it was 50 cents, and then it was 75 cents, and now it's almost $2 to buy a Coca-Cola at a vending machine. So the thing is, with all this influx of cash, we might see inflation. And inflation is a scary word, but please understand that real estate holds up very well through inflation. A lot of people choose real estate as an investment because rents can keep up with inflation better. For example, if you have a lot of your mortgage at a low interest rate, that is fantastic because you have a low interest rate and inflation might actually favor you in that scenario. So don't be scared of those economic things when it comes to real estate, because in some cases, there might be a benefit in real estate for you to take a look at versus another investment. So keep that in mind for your home and anything else you might be looking to do. In the meantime, it's almost Labor Day. Have a great one. I am wearing a Bulldog shirt because I hope they will play football later this month, and hopefully we'll just start to manage through a little bit more of this a little better than we have. But our real estate market remains strong. Again, if you got any questions, want to get an updated home value, just want to get a plan in place, contact myself here at Five Market, or any of our good real estate agents can help you as well. Have a great Labor Day.